Good day, YouTube. Welcome back to Old Guy Garage. As always, I'm your host, the Old Guy. It's a beautiful day in Chicago Southland. Sun's out. Temperature's almost 60 degrees. And we're in December. Nothing to complain about. Except, how about that interstate system? Makes us happy, makes us mad, makes some of us want to fight. Sets a platform for road rage. How did it get here? How did we get so lucky to be able to drive on the greatest transportation system ever built in history? Well, it all goes back to one crazy old evil bastard named Adolf Hitler, who was responsible for getting the Autobahn built in Germany. During World War II, then General Eisenhower saw all the advantages of having such a system available for the military, because that's what old Adolf was using it for. When the war was over, Eisenhower came back to the States, became President Eisenhower, and was responsible for shepherding this project through Congress. It's the single biggest public works project in history. It was originally planned for 40,000 miles. Now we're close to 50,000. The interstate system is almost single-handedly responsible for the tremendous growth in two things: the suburbs and the trucking industry. Before the interstate system, over-the-road trucking was at a minimum because of the difficulties of going cross-country. Most goods were delivered by train to local dispatch warehouses, where they were then put on trucks and delivered locally. Over-the-road trucking was a fraction of what it is today. Think about it. How did you get across country before the interstates? Route 66, Lincoln Highway. There just wasn't that many good roads, and they were not connected in an intelligent way. The interstates came along, and engineers got involved and really did a great job of planning. Of course, they didn't realize back in the mid-50s, when there was only 60 million cars on the road, that 60 years later, there would be more than 5 times that. Over 260 million vehicles use the interstate highway. Sometimes it feels as though they're all on there at the same time. I agree with that. When Congress approved the Interstate Highway Act, the federal government provided funding for most of it, probably 90%. The deal was with the states, hey, we'll build it. When it's done, we hand it off to you. You pay to fix it. Well, if you think about it, depending on where you live and what kind of condition your roads are in, you could see why there's so much disparity in the shape of our interstate system. States that can afford it do a great job of upkeep on their systems. States that are financially strapped don't. The federal government does still provide some funding for road maintenance, but it's still a responsibility of the individual states. You ever drive down the interstate And notice when you get off at an exit, it's also referenced by a number. Let's say like exit 82A or 104B, etc. Those numbers are there for the benefit of the military. When Eisenhower went to Congress and asked them to fund the system, he used national defense as the primary reason, as he explained how easily his own troops were able to move throughout Germany on the Autobahn. There's a few reasons why I'm so interested and fond of the interstate system. Number one, we were both born the same year. And number two, I actually got to work on the interstate highway system for 35 years. On it, over it, under it, next to it. Helped administrate jobs for it. So I have a unique understanding of the system. It's a lot more complicated than we all think. Just the task of marking the pavement with yellow lines, white lines, skip dash lines, call them lane lines, is complicated, dangerous, and expensive. Although it has changed through the years, it's basically still done the same way, and the equipment used to do it can cost upwards to $1 million. At this point in time, most of the interstate system is completed. Once in a while, because of growth, a new phase will be added that wasn't there to begin with. Also interesting, state of Hawaii has interstates. How that came to be, I don't know, because I don't know what state you could drive to from Hawaii or what state you could drive through to reach Hawaii. All in all, we're actually fortunate to have this interstate system. I can recall many, many years ago driving my 1967 Chevy Impala convertible with a 327 V8, bald tires and all, with the top down, two of my friends in the car with me, down a dark and lonely, unlighted stretch of interstate, no radar detector because they really weren't perfected well then. And I can tell you, a 1967 Chevy Impala with bald tires, with the top down, and 3 passengers in there, has a top speed of 112 miles an hour. If you can find a 1967 Impala with the 327 and bald tires to prove me wrong, give me a call. I was there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little discussion about the interstate system. Maybe you'll think about it a little more next time you use it. It is the best highway system in the world. It's designed for much higher vehicle speeds than we utilize it for, but that's more a problem of driver training than anything else. Maybe someday we'll wake up in this country and provide proper training and be able to use the interstates the way they were intended to be used. Until then, be safe out there. Enjoy the interstate highway system when you can. As I always say, don't just be history, make history. You have a great day. I will.